you ever notice that the moment life gets chaotic, your first instinct is to look outside yourself for a savior? You call a friend, scroll social media for answers, or desperately seek approval from people who are just as lost as you are. But what if I told you that every single time you abandon your own judgment to outsource your own peace, you are actively teaching your brain to distrust yourself? And in this video, we're going to break that cycle. We're going to break the cycle of self-doubt and emotional dependency. And by the time you finish watching this video, you'll understand the exact psychological mechanism behind why you outsource your certainty. And more importantly, you'll walk away with 3 actionable steps to build an unshakable sense of inner knowing and inner trust. You're about to learn how to become your own ultimate sanctuary. Okay, first point, the trap of external sourcing. To understand why we struggle to trust ourselves and our lives, we have to look at how our neural wiring was built. Early in life, reliance is a survival mechanism. As children, we depend entirely on caretakers for safety, validation, and emotional regulation. The problem is that many of us stepped into adulthood without ever rewiring that circuit. We swapped our parents for our partners, boss figures, or societal expectations, constantly looking to the external world to answer the question, am I doing this right? I mean, think about the last time you had a difficult decision to make. Maybe as a career change, maybe as you're going through a breakup, or some kind of personal matter that you have been putting off for years. Did you sit in silence and trust your own instincts, your gut feelings, or your intuition? Or did you immediately call 3 people to get their opinion first? And the reason this can be a problem is because when you do that, your brain interprets the action as a signal. And that signal is, I am incapable of handling this challenge alone. And over time, this reinforces a feedback loop of internal anxiety and self-doubt. You become like a leaf in the wind, completely dependent on your external circumstances to stay calm in order to feel okay. But here's where almost everyone gets this wrong. You think you lack confidence because you don't know the right answers. The truth? You lack confidence because you refuse to stay in a room with yourself long enough to hear them. Real self-reliance isn't about isolating yourself or refusing help. It's about making your own mind the primary place that you go for your answers before you seek validation from the outside world. So the next time a minor crisis or tough decision arises, implement the 5-minute pause. Before calling a friend, a relative, or searching online, or asking the advice from someone that you know, sit in a total silence for 5 minutes. Now, I know this sounds a bit simplistic and easy, but it can be hard at first, especially when your mind is used to racing, as mine is. But just try it and ask yourself, what does my internal wisdom or intuition say about this circumstance? Document your initial thoughts before opening the floor to outside opinions. This single practice starts shifting your brain's resilience back inward. But stepping inward is only possible if you can tolerate what you find there. Which brings us to the next layer. That's point 2, cultivating internal silence and self-regulation. If relying on yourself was easy, everyone would do it. The reason most people run away from solitude is that the moment the external noise stops, the internal critique begins. And when we slow down, we're confronted with our own unidentified and unedited thoughts, lingering insecurities, and harsh inner dialogue. And to avoid that discomfort, we keep ourselves perpetually busy. We fill every spare second with podcasts, music, or work, mistaking constant motion for productivity. Imagine sitting across from a friend who criticized every mistake you made, brought up every past failure, and constantly doubted your ability. How long would you trust that person? It wouldn't be long. Yet that is precisely how most of us talk ourselves internally every day. From a neurobiological standpoint, when your internal voice is hypercritical, your nervous system treats your own self-reflection as a threat. You can't build self-reliance on a foundation of self-hostility. You must learn the skill of emotional self-soothing. Self-reliance requires you to create a safe environment inside your own mind. So when things go wrong, and they will, your internal narrative needs to pivot from, how could you mess this up? To, it's okay, we're going to figure this out step by step. Practice shifting your inner dialogue using reframing compression. When you notice self-criticism, speak to yourself with the same encouragement that you would offer a young child or a trusted friend who made a mistake. Treat yourself as a mentor rather than a prosecutor. And once you stop fearing your own internal environment, you unlock the ability to learn from every experience life throws at you. But none of this matters if you ignore the final piece. And that's the third point. The impermanence mindset and self-mastery. The ultimate test of self-trust isn't how well you perform when life is going smoothly. It's how steady you remain when everything around you falls apart. There is a fundamental truth we often try to ignore. Everything in the external world is temporary. Everything. Titles change. Relationships evolve. Youth fades. Finances fluctuate. And circumstances shift unexpectedly all the time. It's just the way life is and will always be. And when your stability is tied entirely to external pillars, your peace of mind is constantly held hostage by impermanence. Think of a pile of loose sand versus a solid mountain. When the storms of life blow, a pile of sand shifts, it scatters and erodes, goes everywhere. But a mountain remains grounded regardless of the weather. Becoming self-reliant means training yourself to be that mountain. And to achieve this, you master the art of teaching yourself. So instead of viewing setbacks or failures as proof of your inadequacy, treat them as data points. After every challenge, ask yourself 2 key questions. Number 1, what did the situation expose about my current limits? And number 2, what wisdom can I extract from this to navigate the future? And when you constantly pull wisdom from your struggles, you realize that there is no situation life can throw at you that you can't learn from and adapt to. You stop fearing challenge. You stop fearing change because you trust your capacity to navigate the unknown. So in summary, to break free from the self-doubt and build true self-reliance, remember how these 3 pillars connect. Number 1, stop outsourcing your certainty. Shift your default response away from external noise and practice turning inward first. Point 2, master inner compassion. Clear out the harsh internal criticism so your own mind becomes a safe, supportive place to retreat to. Point 3, extract wisdom from every experience. Embrace the changing nature of life by treating every obstacle as a masterclass in self-trust. Thanks so much for watching. If this message resonated with you in any way, please hit that subscribe button and like. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Peace out. Watch my next video here. See you then.